The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, happy Thursday, and welcome once again to our weekly Hangout. I'm here with my partner Brian Sachs, and we are ready for a great session.
Well, that's a great intro.
Thank you.
Can everybody hear me okay? If you could just type into the box if you're able to hear me okay. I want to make sure that the sound is here. So welcome, Carolyn, and who else is with us? Buford. Hey, Buford, you've become like a rock star. Thank you so much for that video. And who else do we have with us? Make sure everybody can hear us okay. So, okay, great. So let's get started. What we're going to really share in this particular Hangout, number one, we want to make sure that we answer your questions. But number two, I want to make sure that you leave here with some actionable items that you're going to be able to work with. And, you know, what I find that holds us back in a lot of cases is lack of focus. And so we want to try to fix some of that. And I'm going to share with you on this Hangout some golden nuggets. You know, now I want you to think about this. What would stop you from attending an appointment and, you know, think about it, really think about it, okay? What would stop you from attending an appointment where you would earn $10,000 up front and $10,000 a month every month? All you have to do is show up. You don't have to do anything else. You have to just show up. There's no selling. There's no negotiating. They've already sold on using your services. And I want you also, I see Sidra's here, and Rebecca's here, and Carolyn, and Buford, and RK, and I see a couple other people here. So please do me a favor and type in and tell me what would stop you from attending this appointment. A family emergency, Carolyn says, and yes, that's absolutely correct. A family emergency might very well do that. Harm to my family, well, I'm going to put that in the family emergency file, okay? Who else? Thanks, Sidra. So RK, Rebecca, not much, RK says. Buford, okay, you said family death, God forbid. So, look, this is something that I think is really important. Rebecca says nothing, and thank you, Rebecca. So, you know, the reason I posed this question to you is because I want you all to think about, in the context of what you do in a day, what would stop you? Think about all the things you do during a day that is not getting you any closer to this. And for those of you, and welcome Keith, I see a lot of people just showing up. A lot of us tend to do a lot of busy work that's not productive, or work on things that aren't going to get us where we need to be. And look, I'm just as guilty. We all make excuses, but see, here's the question. The question is, what would stop you from attending this appointment? We all get stuck, and if you're actually working in your business doing the it part of it, delivering the service, you're making an enormous mistake, and I'll share that with you in the next slide. But I'd like you all to write this down, and I'd like you to keep this on your computer terminal. What would stop you from attending an appointment? And so all the reasons and all the excuses you give yourself, can't do this because of that, can't do that because of this. This is how you focus. And, you know, we're having a Hangout, so we don't have a whole lot of time, but I could spend hours just talking to you about this topic. What I want you to sort of get to is a couple concepts that I'm going to share with you in a minute. But you need to be working on your business, generating new business, and not in your business doing the it part or learning about the new widget or the new Facebook thing. See, we all get caught up learning about the newest thing when what we are already doing isn't working, and that just pushes us further and further away. So do you know what your hour is worth? So how much do you want to earn? And how many hours do you want to work a week? So Rebecca, RK, Sidra, Buford, Carolyn, I know there's a bunch of others in here, Keith. How much you guys want to earn, and how many hours a week do you want to work? Let's be realistic. I want to see you guys typing in some answers. So who's going to go first? This concept alone, while you're typing, okay, is really, really an important concept to grasp. And when I show you this, I hope some big light bulbs are going to go off in your head. So I see 100,000, my hours worth 200, and I'd like to work 20 hours. $10,000 a month, 25 hours a week. Okay, Sidra. See, the problem we all have is that we all say, oh, I want to be successful. I want to make a lot of money. Well, a lot of money to some people is 5,000. A lot of money to someone else might be 10,000. To someone else it may be 50, and to someone else it may be 100,000. All those things are possible, by the way. And believe it or not, I've actually earned, and this is going to sound kind of crazy, but I really did, and I did a seminar on this. I actually earned $1.4 million gross in a weekend. So really anything you set your mind to, you can do. And if you would have told me that years ago I could earn $1 million even in my lifetime, I wouldn't have believed it. Or a year, I wouldn't have believed it. But I earned that in a weekend. I don't say that to brag. I only say that just so you know that anything really is possible. So let's break down what we're talking about here. Here's an example. Let's say you want to earn $100,000 and you want to work 40 hours a week, and you want to take 2 weeks off, maybe 1 week in the summer, 1 week in the winter, and have a vacation. So your hour is worth $50. Okay, now think about that, because see, you can never ever be successful unless you quantify what that success means, and you're never ever going to be successful unless you know what your hours worth. So I hear so many people saying, I can't afford to outsource, and I can't afford to do this, and I can't afford to do that. And maybe that's true, okay? But you can't afford not to. So I'm going to suggest to you that even if you have to borrow up front, $100, $200, you could get a great VA for $100 a month. $100, it's ridiculous. Not a month, but probably a couple $100 a month. But $100 a week, certainly you could get someone wonderful. And maybe it's even $30, $40. We have lots of great people. We're paying $2 or $3 an hour as outsourcing. And they do a phenomenal job. And by the way, some of them have MBA degrees in computers. So they're not dummies. So you building a website, or you building a mobile site, or you doing whatever it is you're doing isn't going to produce income for you. And I want you to start thinking about it in terms of this. I want you working on your business, not in it, and I want you to be doing your marketing. So your hour's worth $50. So now I'm going to give you a really good example of this that happened to my wife and I when we first got married. We bought a townhouse, and she said to me, I used to work literally, I used to call myself a mortgage 7-Eleven. I used to work 7 days a week, really morning, noon, and night. And I would get in the office early so that I could get some work done before the phones went crazy. And at night I was out taking applications, and certainly on Saturdays and Sundays I was at new home developments. So you can always find a way to make yourself busy. So on Saturdays I always like to go out because it was usually a good time, to get loan applications and meet with new realtors and go to new housing developments. My wife at the time was working, 9-to-5 jobs. She was a career counselor, actually. And I came home and she started getting very angry at me because we weren't doing real well back then. And she said to me, every other husband's outside, mowing the lawn and doing repairs around the house, and you're never here. So I had to hire someone, and it cost me $200, and damn well we don't have $200. Any of you relate to that? Type yes into the box. So I'm going to tell you that my wife was using faulty math, and maybe some of you are using faulty math, because, see, here's the deal. I brought in a loan application that Saturday. that loan application made me $500. So yes, we spent $200 because I wasn't there to do some landscaping or whatever else it was around the house. In her mind, we were down 200. In my mind, we were up 300. Make sense? Let me know you're with me, folks. I want to know that this makes sense to you. Okay? My math said we were positive 300. Her math said we were short 200. And so you now, if your hour, if this is really what you want to make $100,000 a year and you want to take 2 weeks off, well, your hour is worth $50. 2,000 hours times 50 is 100,000. And so if you spent $10 having someone else do the chores, and I'm going to call it chores, that you're not doing, well, guess what? You're still $40 ahead. You didn't lose 10. I got to change your mentality. So that's the big aha. The big aha here is that you can design your business and your life, and you need to look back at what you do during the day, like that $10,000 appointment that we talked about in the first slide. And see, what I do is I actually schedule time with myself. I schedule an appointment with myself, and I call it the $10,000 client. And what that means to me, it triggers my brain, because doing that and working on my business, even if it's only an hour or two a week, but that time with no phone calls, no disturbance, no nothing, that time working on the business is what starts producing those kind of paydays for you. If you're just going to keep going down this slippery slide, you're never going to get there. And I know many of you are working full-time outside of this business and hoping to transition to this business full-time. So, is it $3 an hour work? Is it $10 an hour work? It ain't going to get you there. Bringing in revenue is what's going to get you there. So I hope that all makes sense. Working on your business, not in it. And the action item for you is that you schedule the times. Only work on what makes you money. And actually, here's another little tip for you. You have to know what your prime time is. Now, I'm like Dracula, by the way. I mean, I'm up all hours of the night and day because I love what I'm doing. But, when I need to write the articles and I need to do course writing or anything of that nature, you better believe that that time that I'm writing is between 7 and 9 a.m. My head is clear. I'm focused. I've had a lot of coffee. And my writing time is 7 to 9. Some people, their time may be best in the afternoon. Others, your time may be best late at night. It doesn't matter, okay? It only matters that you know what your prime time is and that you work undisturbed on building your business. And so, here's Carolyn, by the way. And, I got to sort of shout out to Carolyn. If those of you in our Facebook group, and this is in the Ultimate Market Takeover, this is a private group for Ultimate Market Takeover members only. Of course, we also have the local client formula, which is for everyone. But Carolyn, if you are a member of Ultimate Market Takeover, she's put in there a niche checklist. And Carolyn, what I'm so proud of Carolyn for is, she was on the Hangout last week. She got stuck a little bit, and she's now putting one foot forward. And I think probably one of these days she really didn't know where she was even headed, but she just started walking. And I think she's very much on the right track. And so, Carolyn, I know you're not shy, so maybe you'll get on and talk to us about that. But I wanted you all to know about this niche checklist that Carolyn put together here. And if you go into either of the Facebook groups, you're going to see, actually maybe on the next slide here, you're going to see a disagreement that you can all help Robert and I solve. And I really do hope that you will take that survey. At the end of that survey, we're actually giving you 2 really, really, really good books that I would feel very good charging for. One of them is Acres of Diamonds, and the other are 9 big mistakes that most local consultants make. And if you just start, putting these into your marketing, you will start seeing immediate differences. I'd also tell you that Buford and I had our one-on-one session, and Buford was kind enough to send me a testimonial video, really more for everybody else also. See, here's a lesson. No one believes what I say, but everybody believes what our students say about me, right? And no one believes what you say when you're trying to sell something, but they all believe what your customers say about you. So you let the testimonials do the talking. I would welcome any of you, if you've seen any success from anything Robert and I have shared with you, we would love your testimonial. And but I do want you to go in, and I want you to, after you've completed this, if you can solve this dispute between Robert and I would like you to go in, fill out that survey. It's only going to be up for another day or two. And I would like you then to make sure you go to the second page and claim your bonuses. Because those bonuses, I'm telling you, are going to be really, really money in the bank for you. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover here. And, if the gods are willing here, I'm going to open it up for any questions. And that's really the purpose here. Robert and I are really dedicated to helping you succeed and getting you where you need to be. And so you see, we're not pitching anything here. We're not recommending anything here. We only recommend things that we use ourselves, by the way, so that they could be a shortcut for you. So I guess the way this works is you want to raise your hand, and Robert will open your line and ask whatever you like.
Or if you don't have a microphone handy, just post your question in the question box, and we'll take care of it.
So Sidra would like to beg Robert to let her buy the direct mail course. Okay, well, I'll tell you what the problem, Sidra, is with it. The recordings are not quite where we need them to be right now. And the problem is I recorded them with a crappy microphone. And so we're just working with our audio technician to try to get them a little bit better. But you have a direct mail sequence in the Ultimate Market Takeover that you can use right away. And that's a 3-part series that actually, really will bring you money almost immediately. So, I would encourage you to do that. Direct mail is something that I love. And we use all sorts of really cool direct mail courses of direct mail techniques, and a lot of those are in the course. So can you open Carolyn up?
Sure. Carolyn, you're live.
Hey, everybody.
Hello. So how do we get customer reviews, Carolyn wants to know, if we don't have customers in the niche we want to move into? So now that's a really good question. And I'm not going to ask you to reveal the niche. But here's what I would do, okay? Number one, I might go into that niche right away and go to the association in that niche and offer one of my services to them in exchange for membership in that association. And now what you can do is put that association logo or publication logo on all of your marketing materials, on your website, I mean literally everywhere. And the other thing you can do is now say that you were the company that the association chose for their own website or mobile app or whatever the case may be. Another way to do that, the simple way obviously, is go get some customers. Another way you could do that is to get testimonials from others you've worked with, and you don't necessarily have to say it's in the niche. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like last night I stood up for like 3 hours going through our Facebook page and pulling out really good comments about Robert and I for a new product we're going to come out with very soon. And these were left about Robert and I, even though they were related to Ultimate Market Takeover, they were about content Robert and I provide. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, thanks. I think I can use that starting today.
Beautiful. So by the way, I'll share a everybody want to hear a dirty little secret?
Yes.
So if you go to the local client formula and you start seeing the testimonials there, those are all loan officers.
The ones on the right side.
Does that make sense to everybody? So you work with what you have. I mean, other credibility factors, by the way, Carolyn, one of the things that we did, there is nothing involved in becoming an Apple certified developer other than paying an extortion fee. And, you know, to get the Google partner is not much involved in that either. And now we can say we're a Google approved agency and an Apple approved agency, and we work directly with Apple and Google. But any of you could do that.
Can you say that again?
So if you look at our business sites, you will see that we have the Google label on there because we are a Google partner. And we have the Apple logo on there because we are an Apple developer. The way we became an Apple developer is to pay Apple $99. And the way we became a Google developer is to ask.
You're kidding.
Nope.
But you have to be registered as a developer with each of those companies in order to produce apps. So since we produce mobile apps, we had to become an Apple certified developer. You know, but putting that on your letterhead and website and all, I mean, that it just everybody knows who Apple is, everybody knows who Android is and Google, and it just kind of raises your stature in their eyes.
See what we've become, Carolyn? A legend in our own mind. But all of those things are credibility builders, and you'll see in all the marketing materials you have there that we actually put the association's logo on it when we're dealing with automotive, and you know, we're not lying, okay? But you don't even have to be selling mobile apps, by the way. Google has a partner program that used to be Google Engage. You go through a little bit of a course, which you should know anyway, and you know, you can now use their logo.
Which
interesting, huh?
To a technical question.
Well, let me tell you one more thing, by the way. You know, the Better Business Bureau was really sort of like a creation of Al Capone. And, you know, you pay them a fee, and you can use their logo.
Right.
They're pretty impotent.
Right.
So go ahead, Carolyn. I'm sorry. And I want to make sure that we get to Buford and anybody else that has any questions as well.
I was just curious because I know to be a developer, they want you to be set up in some kind of business, you know, whether it's an LLC or a other thing that, other than that, they don't want to take you on as an individual person.
That's not true. They do. They will, Apple and Google. Now, to be fair, it's been a year since I've, you know, a year or two since I've done that, but both of them did allow you as an individual, and I am pretty sure they still do.
Okay, I'll take a look at that again.
I mean, here's what I can tell you. I can tell you if you look in the Apple Store and in the Android Store, you will see develop apps that are in there from a person, not from a company.
Okay. I must have read that wrong then.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm right. So
okay.
I thank you, Carolyn. And how's it going?
Well, it's still, you know, the work is still there, but I think the mental twisting of my brain has sort of calmed down a bit.
Good, good. Because, you know, as I said, you're just walking forward, and I know one day you didn't even know where you were walking.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's okay because but we're getting there. You see what I mean? Most people stop walking, and if you stop walking, you never can get there. It's impossible. So keep walking, Carolyn, and we're here to help you.
Will do, and thank you, and you will get a testimonial from me as well.
God bless you. All right, Buford, you're up.
All right, Buford, you're live.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you, but I see your picture. How you
Yes.
doing, man? Thank you so much for your kind words.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm in every one of them.
Beautiful. So what can we do for you, Buford?
Okay, my question is, when you're approaching an industry publication to try to write for, should you send them possibly a sample of your writing on your initial approach?
Yes. Here's what I would put in there, okay? I would put in there some sample articles. What's the worst thing that they could do? Is steal them and put them in their publication?
Yes.
Which is what we want to happen anyway, okay? So I would put that in there. I would put the slides in there of the webinar. I would put a very nice cover letter in there. I would also put in there a copy of my book. You all have a book you can start modifying in there, right?
Yes, I have a book.
Okay, put the book in there.
Okay.
That should be a nice little package, you know. When that 3-pound box gets to them, they become very excited. They open that, don't they?
Yes.
All right, and you know, if you want to be clever or cute, you could put a instant coffee and a instant popcorn in there and just say, hey, close the door, read what I've put in here. Here's some popcorn and a drink for you. I guarantee you they'll remember you when you do that.
Okay, so you suggest the first contact be by direct mail?
I'm not saying that. I think the first contact should be a phone call.
Okay.
And after the phone call, you know, even if you're a great salesman, and I know you are, Buford, but you know, even if you've already sold them, you still send them that package.
Gotcha. Well, I can do that.
Good. Because I'm going to tell you, you know, one thing we didn't discuss in Ultimate Market Takeover, but you know, when you start becoming very friendly with these association heads and you start becoming very friendly with the publications, they start introducing you to others. So as an example, I write for Tire Review. They have an educational arm, and the educational arm and I have been speaking. They introduced us. And you know, I think I've told everyone I'm speaking at the AAIA, which is literally it's one of the largest conventions in the country. It's the Automotive Aftermarket Institute of America. In November, they have like a couple 100,000 people coming from all over the world, and I'm the speaker Thursday morning. And you know, the magazine I write for, Tire Review, which is just, you know, one small company that's coming. Well, you know, they've invited me to a party, and they told some of their, you know, advertisers that they should talk to me while I'm there. See how all that works?
Yes.
It's all very intertwined. So did I answer your question, Buford?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. God bless you, man. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
All right. Who else? Who else has a question? Okay, so if you can, just raise your hand if you have a question. Look, you know, I'm going to encourage you again. I'd ask all of you, if you would, to complete that survey in the Facebook, and you're getting emails about it. You know, Robert and I have like a couple projects we're working on, and you know, I didn't want to sort of like dismiss Sidra. I know Sidra really wants that direct mail course, and I'm not ducking it. We just want to make it really, really special. But we're working on a couple other things that are really, really big, and you know, that I think will benefit all of you. But we want to make sure that we go through it and make sure it's everything we want it to be for you, and that it's going to be in a format that you can instantly implement. You know, I'm curious, for those of you in here, you know, one of the things that we're thinking about more and more, Stasi has a question, good, and I'll answer that in a second. One of the things we're thinking of more and more is actually taking what we do and making it into a workshop for people so that at the end you literally have a business, not a bunch of ideas, but, really, really working with you one-on-one, in a group, in a very small, intimate group, maybe 20, 30 people at a time at max, and helping you discover what we've been discovering. So, you'll hear more about that. I'm not trying to sell you anything, but just trying to give you a little insight of kind of what our thoughts are. Could you talk a little more about what you say in the intro you give the association leaders and to go along with the webinar PowerPoint when giving presentation? Oh, okay. I've been calling you Stassi, and it's Stacy. Sorry about that. Okay, so let me explain. Really, when I call an association or I call a publication, it's almost exactly the same. And you do have the script, I believe, in the course, but, the ultimate market takeover. But it pretty much goes like this. Hi, my name's Brian Sachs. I'm a mobile marketing expert. We're the #1 mobile marketing company in the automotive aftermarket. And I know that the members of your association or the subscribers of your publication are a little confused about the topic. I'm sure they're hearing lots of people calling them about mobile marketing and being found on mobile devices and easy to connect to. Have you been getting any sort of like inquiries about that? And, let them talk a little bit. And so, great. Well, I'd like to volunteer my services and my expertise to educate the members of your publication, the subscribers of your publication, members of your industry. And I just want to be very clear with you, Mr. Publisher or Ms. Association Head. I'm not looking to sell anyone anything during this education, but, and I've used this, by the way, a couple times. The reason I'm calling you is because I've spoken to so many shop owners who, they just don't understand, and they really just need to be educated. So yes, of course, we're in business to do business, but can't do business with someone who doesn't even understand they have a problem. And I said this to an association person about 2 weeks ago. I said, you know what this is like? It's really like, if someone's in the desert, okay, and it's very hot, and they haven't drank a drink of water in the last 2 days, it's going to be very, very easy for me to sell them water. But the person who just, had a huge milkshake, it's going to be very hard to sell that person anything. And we have in your association a bunch of people who are in the desert. They're dehydrated, but they don't know that. And they're about to have their clocks cleaned because all of the big companies now are going mobile. And so the independents that support your association, those guys and gals are going to be in a lot of trouble. And all I want to do is help you educate them. And so I can send you my articles, be happy to send you a book I wrote. Now, that's if you're going to a national association or a local. The other thing that I've been able to do, and you have this in Ultimate Market Takeover as well, let's say you don't want to do any of that. Let's say you're Joe Smith and you're working during the day and you can't do this, okay? So what do? Well, I've given you a webinar. I think it's like 60 or 82 slides that you can modify any way you like. And I've given you a direct mail campaign. So don't call the publication. Don't call the associations. Put them on a webinar and speak to them and explain it to them and have a page up there where they can download your book and download all of the other materials and even download the slides. Educate them and say, just like I've educated you, I want to now educate your members. So I hope that's helped, Stacy. Okay, I can't tell you exactly where it is, but I can tell you it's in there. It's not in the module, or maybe it is. Robert, you have any idea where it is?
Not sure, but I'll check. I'll check and see, and I'll let you know.
I can tell you that I know the letters are in there and I know the webinars are in there. You have a webinar for the association members and a letter for the association members, a 3-step campaign. And you also have in there a letter for the publications and association heads and a webinar for the association heads and letters. So you got both. No, there is not a webinar script, but the slides are pretty self-explanatory. The reason, by the way, Stacy, I didn't put a script in there is because you shouldn't sound like me. You should sound like you. Just be passionate about your topic. I can tell you it's always a good idea when you're new doing a webinar to actually even script it out for yourself. You know, I do it a different way. I just record it, and then I have it transcribed, which you could do on Fiverr really, really inexpensively, and then just see how it sounds and make your changes accordingly. So who's next? Who else has a question? Seeing any hands go up, Robert?
No, not yet.
Any stroke of brilliance you want to share?
Well, you were talking about finding the right time of day, and that, you know, that I found that kind of humorous because Brian and I are very different as far as that. Brian likes to, you know, I'll get emails from him at 4 or 5 in the morning, and, you know, I'm usually sleeping. Then it's hard for me to get up before 7 or 8 at the earliest. You know, if I had my druthers, I'd probably sleep till 9 or 10 if I could. But yeah, sometimes, but I'm a night owl. I'm usually up till 2 or 3 working on stuff, and there's actually times where I'll be up working late, and Brian will wake up early, and our paths will cross in the middle of the night. But yeah, I get most of my best work done at night, late at night, when the house is quiet, my kids are all asleep, and I have time to kind of sit down and focus on things. But I know Brian, for example, he gets his best work done in the morning. So it makes it hard for us to meet at the right time because, you know, he always wants to meet in the morning when he's feeling the most productive, and you know, that's when I'm just waking up and getting ready to get started on the day. So anyway, it's different times work for different people, and I remember.
No right or wrong to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And I remember talking to Jason Fladlin about time management. He's real big into, he has a very specific way that he manages his time. And he sets aside 2.5 hours, I think it is, every day to work, like laser-focused work. And then the rest of the time he spends working, which is pretty significant, he spends kind of prepping and making it easier for him to do that 2.5 hours of laser-focused work. And so that 2.5 hours is when he gets all of his work done. And he'll tell you that's when he gets his work done. And the rest of the time is spent making it so he can get his work done during that 2.5 hour block. And he's probably the most productive person I know.
So that's a great tip. So thank you, Robert. I'd like to know what you all have taken away from this. So, Carolyn, if we're looking into mobile solutions with the change of Google keyword into the keyword finder, they no longer show mobile search keywords. How would we make the case now to business owners that people are searching on their mobile phones now that that data is no longer available? It's a great point and a great question, and I'm going to be very honest in telling you we're still trying to figure it out. What I do know is that there is, first of all, some of the old keyword tools are still in place, okay? So Google hasn't totally switched everybody over, apparently. And we're still getting to know this enhanced version. But here's what we do know. All searches, 50% of all searches are happening on mobile devices. And mobile devices being a phone or a tablet, okay? And so that we know, that's for sure. I believe there's a way in Google to, in this new partner program, I think they call it, or enhanced, whatever, to go into the advanced settings and I believe there is some data there. But we're again still exploring this. We've just entered into another business where we are really trying to harness the mobile traffic. And, Google definitely threw us a little bit of a curveball. But, I'm going to share something with you that if you just, sometimes you just have to think about logically. And you don't always need to be so concrete. I thought the more concrete I was when I started with people, with prospects, when I first started this, that I just need to be totally concrete. And, last week I was meeting with a cosmetic dentist, and it's a very, very, very affluent area in Baltimore. And I said to him, I said, you might imagine people sitting in your, a lot of people sitting in your waiting room bringing their, iPads with them. He goes, yeah, sure. Either they're on their iPads or they're on their phone. And I said, yeah, we'll see. They're looking for you on there, and they're not finding you on there, and that's a problem. And that made total sense. I didn't have to tell them it was 93 or 42 or anything like that, okay? So here, RK, so open up RK, let him respond.
Okay, one moment. Okay, RK, you're live.
Okay, so RK doesn't have a mic, but here's what he said. I assume it's a he. Mobile search, use the eye test. Look around, Mr. Biz owner. Everyone is on their mobile device. And he's right. That's really almost as concrete as you need it to be. The fact, Carolyn, whether it's like 93 people or 122, doesn't really matter. Pull up their website on their phone and show them that it's atrocious and they can't get, people aren't going to be able to connect with them. And then, you know what else you do? Pull up their competitors. Find their competitor before you go there that does have a mobile site and say, here's what it should look like. Don't you want to look like so-and-so? Does that make sense? So while Carolyn's telling me if that makes sense, so this is great. Thanks. I love that approach. It's much more like what a person would do. Right. That's exactly right. So, it really gets into a little bit of a different topic. We want to be speaking to a person, having a conversation with them, not sort of like baffling them with facts and figures and BS. And that becomes much more engaging. And look, the truth is, everybody understands we're going mobile now. It's not like last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Everybody gets it. Even the most remote people get it. Robert and I do some work in the towing space, and we never talked about a more remote group of people, okay? Most don't know that the keyword tool exists. They just, look, here's the way you look, and here is the way your competitor looks. Don't you want to look like your competitor? Because right now, they're stealing your business. We don't want that to continue. See the words? See the choice of words? That's really all you need. So I'm going to stay on for one more question. Please tell me, if you could, raise your hand and tell us what your big takeaway is here. Anybody have a big aha moment here? And while people are thinking about that, Robert, I believe we're not going to be having a Hangout next week. Is that right?
I believe so. I think you'll be away, and I'm going to be in Orlando at the JV Zoo event. If anyone's coming to that, please find me and introduce yourself. I would love to meet you guys. So yeah, that's the day that I travel there, and I think at 1 p.m. there's going to be part of the event is going to be going on. So no Hangout next week, but we will be back on the, I think it's the 12th of September.
Okay, so with that, I thank you all. I'm going to go back here and just tell you what the last idea you shared was good. Thank you, Stacy. I want you to really understand this, okay? I want you to know what your hour's worth, okay? Very, very big. And I want you to start setting up these appointments to be working on your business, not in your business. And again, think of what would keep you from that, $10,000 appointment. In our case, as the AHA was a package of coffee and popcorn. So yeah, good. Okay. I finally got it. Why you're stressing that 10K appointment, Carolyn. Finally got it. Good. Okay. So beautiful. Right. That appointment is with you. It's an appointment you have with yourself. And that's the only way these $10,000 paydays are going to start happening. It has to be with you, that appointment, to work on your business, not in it. So I'm glad you got that big aha. That's a big one. And so that's one. The other is knowing what your hour is worth. That's a real critical piece of this. And, not doing $10 an hour work. If you want to make $100,000 a year, you're doing $10 an hour work or $3 an hour work, really. You're never going to be successful. So there you go. You really can design your life. So I thank you all. Please share with the group if you're an Ultimate Market Takeover member or a local client formula member. Get in there and share. We'd love to hear how you guys are succeeding. What Buford sent really sort of makes our day, because that's why we do this. We do this to help. And we do this to make sure that we are treating you the way we would want to be treated. And one of the things that really disturbs me is buying a program or a product and never hearing from that person again unless they're promoting other people's nonsense. You're never going to find that with us. We will occasionally show you other people's information because of stuff we're using ourselves. Like Russ Hayes and his Review Century. There's a link for it up in the replay in the local client formula. But other than that, we really, we want to help you. And that's really what it's all about. So I thank you all. I hope everyone has a very, very successful week. And, we appreciate that you're here, but being very candid with you, being here is worthless unless you do something with the information we just shared. So lots of good luck. We'll see you back in the Facebook group.